Hi there, lovelies. It's me, Tamala Clover, doing another episode of Dear Tamala, where I give advice that you can trust. And today I'm actually going to Reddit again, but it's going to be from the R advice um, instead of like the places I've been going lately. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like just let's do some advice. Let's do some straight up, just they're asking for it, so let's give it to them. Um, So the first headline I saw that looked kind of interesting was posted, I guess, a day ago, so recently, and it says, "Should I stop paying everything for my boyfriend or best friend? I don't know which one yet. I 25 female have been with my BF 31 male for just over 3.5 years. A few months into the relationship, he lost his job and I've been paying his rent and bills as well as my own. We both live in different share houses, just renting rooms. I also give him money for food and stuff. He always says he will try to find a job, but claims either no one will hire him or that no one will or that will have extremely bad pay. It's really difficult for me because I barely have enough money to pay for both of our bills, rent, and food. That I can never buy anything nice for myself, for fun or gifts for friends and family, for birthdays or Christmas. He also can't buy things either and gets extremely grumpy if his friends invite him out because he can't buy drinks and won't go if he can't drink. Also gets mad because he won't attend anyone's birthday if he doesn't have a brand new outfit. And whoa, and refuses to go if he doesn't have one. Won't even just wear something he already has. By the way, I've also bought a few $1,000s worth of clothes for him over the years, so it's not like he doesn't have anything. There have been times where I've gotten some extra money for selling items or as gifts, and he's basically demanded he have that money. If I refuse, he gets mad. There's even been times he blocks me on all social media and phone until I send him what he wants. Things got really bad about 2 years ago when he said I better find a way to get money for him or he's breaking up with me and blocking me everywhere. I kept saying no and asked him to be reasonable and to understand that I just can't get money from nowhere. If he thinks it's so easy for me to get money, then it should be easy for him to get money too, right? Anyway, he kept forcing me, and out of fear, I stupidly scammed some people online, and he encouraged it and enjoyed it. Of course, now it's come back and the police are coming after me for that. I know it was stupid. There's been many times I've wanted to get out of the situation, but if I do, not only will he hate me, but he will probably end up homeless and starving due to having absolutely no money and apparently unable to get a job. I can't continue to give him money, and I need to see what happens with the legal stuff, which I'm really scared of. But I love him and I don't want to put him on the street. When he's not after money, he's really so sweet and loving. Also, please don't make rude comments about the scams. I finished it quickly long ago, before I was even caught because I didn't want to do that kind of stuff in the first place. Wow. Well, that is so. Whoa. That's a big question. The easy answer is yes, you need to break up with him. It's 3 years. Oh my gosh. And I'm saying that as somebody who understands like the other end of it. Like I actually am not working right now because of an injury. Like I had foot surgery and I can't work. Right now I'm just trying to learn how to walk again, and I also had a position where I don't have benefits, so I'm relying on my partner to do all of the bills, and I know it's so hard for him. So I know it's got to be hard for our OP here, but the natural response to like needing to rely on somebody is to, one, be grateful, two, not be demanding, and three, to like have some kind of like intention to not stay in that state, whatever that state is. Like if he really can't get a job, then like maybe he needs to get some kind of like financial support someplace else. But to have that all be on her and like to make threats and say I'm gonna break up with you and stuff like that, like that's so manipulative. And like that alone, like having like a need, or having an arrangement with a partner where like you stay home and like you don't do the bills and they do the bills for whatever reason, that's like whatever between consenting adults, right? But to like make threats and be like, I'm gonna end the relationship if you don't do this, and like we have to bring the scams up. Like I'm not judging the OP for that, but like that is another thing. Like the OP did do them, so they're responsible in that sense. But like having somebody in your life that's getting you to do like really kind of things that like cross like your moral boundaries is another problem. Like I don't know how much advice we're supposed to give on like our advice, but like I always give a ton of advice anyways, and it's like it's done. And I want to say this as somebody who has experienced houselessness before, and who would also be houseless potentially if my partner wasn't there for me right now. Is that's still not on the OP. Like, and like if you ever hear this, I hope you like take that on board. It's like you have done more than like is expected or should be expected in a relationship without getting, it sounds like, a lot back. Sometimes people go through a hard time and like it's difficult, and like they have reasons to like pull it together for each other, and like then it's expected to balance out at some point. But it sounds like it's just expected you do everything, and that's hard. And like I get loving people, but like you need to like realize that some people aren't in a place to love you in a healthy way, and that you really deserve to have people who value you, who, because I'm not saying I can't say how the BF feels. What I can say is from this post how the BF is acting. And he may love the OP so much, but like where he's at in his life, his needs are coming before her needs. He's not being able, whether he loves her or doesn't love her or any of that, he's not being able to like meet her in a way where she's being treated as worthy and valuable, and in a way that's fair. And now there's the legal stuff, and that's going to be really scary too. But this person, they can get a job, and I don't say that lightly, because like I don't really want to go and work places that I don't like or care about, and like I get kind of bitter like when I have to work someplace and I don't feel like I'm getting paid what I'm worth, and I get those feelings. But like there are other avenues. There are avenues. They might not be great, but where you're not like starving. I mean, well, sometimes, but it sounds like he's just gotten comfortable relying on you, and he's just, that's a safe spot now, and he's probably not even, I am not a mind reader, but it sounds like he's not really putting much effort into like getting on his own 2 feet. And you just gotta like let it go, man. Like let that go. Like you can't be responsible for people. And I'm gonna share with you a little bit about me, more about me. It's like so I've been houseless a lot growing up, and I learned to be real responsible for my family. And when I became a young adult, I would often let my family move in with me where I would be at. And sometimes it wasn't even intentional. I just say like, oh, they're like houseless, or something's going on, or something fell through, and I'm just gonna let them stay for a moment. And like rarely did they stay for a moment. In fact, there were not one, not two, but at least 3 times, I think there like 3 times, where like I literally moved out of the place where I lived and like transferred the lease over to my family because I couldn't like stay there anymore. But I couldn't kick them out either. I didn't know how to have those boundaries. and my family loves me and I love them, but like we weren't in a healthy place when it came to our boundaries. And even after that, I would still let different family members come and like stay on my couch for like 6 months at a time without paying any bills or anything like that. And it was really hard mentally. And then it was also equally hard to like set those boundaries. And recently, like the last couple of years, I have a friend who experienced houselessness, and like enforcing those boundaries, even though they weren't really like pressuring me to like come stay with me, but because of like how I tend to just let people move in, I'm like, I can't have people over like staying the night if they're like in a really bad spot. And that's really hard to say, like when you love somebody and you care for somebody, and it's just really hard not to be there for them as much as you can, but you also have to be there for yourself. You have to be there for the other people in your life. And my friend and I are still good friends, maybe even better friends. They're doing okay. We stayed connected through everything. And it was difficult. And sometimes we want to do more than we actually can for people that we care for. And but that doesn't mean that we're responsible for everything that happens to the people in our lives. You know, sometimes people get dealt a bad hand. Sometimes people choose not to play the hand well. But you deserve, and all the people listening, you deserve to have nice, healthy lives that are fulfilling and that are not overly burdensome. And like, you deserve to have boundaries in your relationships that make you feel safe and like aren't depleting you, you know? And like, I'm not saying don't help people when you can, don't help people for a little bit because you want to and you think it's gonna be worthwhile later, whatever. I'm saying, like, in this case, it's been 3 years, and it sounds like this person just kind of expects it, and now you're dealing with some troubles. Like, maybe he does end up for a moment being houseless, but he's probably gonna figure something out, you know? And like, if he doesn't, that's still on him. So I really hope you choose you, and I hope everyone listening chooses themselves too. And I say that in the way that not choosing ourselves necessarily over people, but saying we're as important as anybody else in our lives, that we deserve as much love as anyone else, and that we deserve to have healthy, happy relationships. So that's my advice on that. Let's see what everybody else said, because there's a lot of comments. So somebody says, quoting the OP about how things got really bad about 2 years ago, and like him threatening to break up. This poster said, "This alone should have been enough. That you continue dating him for years shows you are needing therapy. Stop giving him money and get therapy for yourself." I mean, that's really a mean way of saying things, but I think it's probably meant hopefully nicely. Like, yeah, if you don't know what healthy looks like and you don't feel like you deserve that, it's really hard to know like that it's not right. It's really easy to get in these kind of situations. Like it really, if you've always done these kind of things or it's been expected of you, it's really hard to like to disengage and put your boundaries up, especially when somebody's saying like, if you don't do this, it will hurt me so bad, and you care about that person. But let's see, somebody else says he's not getting a job because he sees you as a safety net. He's using and manipulating you. It is not on you if he ends up homeless. That's 100% on him. I understand wanting to help people down on their luck, but he has obviously proven to you that he isn't actually trying and is simply using you as a wallet. Love often disguises itself as comfort. Be careful. Don't set yourself on fire for simply to keep others warm. And I think that I really agree with that person's perspective too. As I just said, at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility. And I don't know if anybody's going to say, like, oh, he doesn't care about you, he doesn't, whatever. I've had people use me in my life that I know loved me. But sometimes, like, if a person feels like they really need things, they stop seeing the humanity and, like, the other people in their lives, and they justify doing things that aren't okay. And, sometimes people have their own reasons. I'm not going to speculate why the boyfriend isn't getting a job, other than to say it seems like he's able to not get a job because he has that safety net. And, like, the question is, do you want to be that safety net? And that's, I really hope you say that you need to prioritize yourself on this one. But I will say this, that as somebody who used to be a serious giver in relationships, so where I was raised, like, that was my position in the family. And it wasn't good for me in my mental health and, like, my self-worth. It was, like, not good. And maybe you're different and, like, everything's fine. But like, when you're giving and you're not getting back, and I don't just mean like an occasional, like, oh, I love you, or like whatever. I mean, like, really getting, like, treated equally, like having somebody be an equal, like, giving back in a way that you're not just being depleted. In my experience, there's only so much depletion you could do without getting anything back, before, like, it really starts to affect your life negatively. And again, I hope that's not your story, but it's what I've seen. It's what I've seen in my own life. I've seen it in other people's stories. Like, I did a short about how, like, I've worked in the mental health field. I've done advocacy work, with group work and different things like that. And I like to do advice. So I often am there for, like, people that I'm close to as well. I'm giving them, like, the free advice. And yeah, let's see if we could do one more. Okay, somebody says shitty pay beats no pay. He is playing on your affection for him. Yes, you have time invested, but is it worth your self-respect and self-worth he has taken? There really are other fish. You're recovering everything now, but think how you will be sitting once you cut him loose. Good luck. And it seems like everybody's that I'm seeing, and I'm scrolling through some of the other posts, and, like, they're basically, some are less nice, but they're basically like, hey, come on, OP, like, come on. And I agree about the bad pay. Like I said initially, it sucks to, like, not feel like you're getting compensated decently, to not feel like your pay is enough. And sometimes it's also, like, the type of job, and that's whatever, but, like, you have to, like, at some point, you're a team, like, you're a team, and, like, sometimes when you're a team, you have to temporarily have it be hard. You've done the hard part. The OP has done the hard part. The boyfriend has never done the hard part of, like, getting, like, a temporary job that just sucks, and, like, even just doing it part-time to cover some of their own stuff. They haven't done that. They haven't, like, they're not putting the hard work in, and that's a big problem. So I would never encourage people to stick in a job that they don't want to be in long term. What I would say is, like, you need to find ways to, like, disengage from that kind of, like, position, and still manage your own stuff. It's not fair to put everything financially on the people in our lives, in my opinion, and it's also not fair to do that emotionally too. Like, I think therapy and stuff like that is really great, for those reasons. Like, having friends and whatnot is really great, where you're putting different stressors from yourself onto other people, and you're taking some from like other people, and it's kind of like a nice little balance of things, hopefully, where people feel supported and loved, ideally. And but nobody's doing everything. No one should be doing everything. So I don't know. I think that was a good one. I'm really glad I picked it. I honestly chose it because I feel like I'm in a similar situation, though I really am, like, I got plans. I'm working on stuff. Um, I'm not gonna just like leave my boyfriend in a lunch like this, I promise everyone. But thank you all for listening to another I guess episode now. Is that what we're calling them? But another session with me, and like always, subscribe. Feel free to put comments down below. If you have questions, I'd love to engage and like talk out things with anybody who ever has a question. So just put it anywhere that you can find to put it, and I'm just always looking to like connect with you all. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.